All right. So it looks like about 50% of us are going to be in person. Some of us are doing a mix of both. And some of us are not going to be working with students this summer, which doesn't necessarily mean you won't be working with students at any other capacity or that you don't have the ability or option to be working with a student. Because I want you to think about this. If you are a parent and you have students at home this summer, children at home this summer, guess what? You are teaching and you are working with a student, just happens to be your own child. So keep that in mind. And I will share the results. All righty. So 9 out of 18 are in person, 3 out of 18 are a mix of both, and 6 are not currently working with students this summer, but I would ask you to, maybe reconsider if you do have children at home or even nieces and nephews, because aren't we always teaching our children? All right. Bear with me while I share my screen. And for those of you that hopped on a little bit later, I am Yasmin Luna Lennon. I am an educational consultant, and I'm also the project specialist for the IDEA AT&T grant resource this summer. IDEA, if you're not familiar, is the Institute for the Development of Educational Advancement. And AT&T, of course, everybody knows corporate, but part of their nonprofit, their charity philanthropy is trying to ensure that Tequity is there for everybody. So the Achievery is their version of how can we make things available to students. So with that in mind, let me see if I can share. All right, can everybody see the Achievery and Connectivity lesson demo?
Yes.
Perfect. And no black boxes in the way?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So again, today I'll be focusing on the Achievery and connectivity lessons. If you have no idea what that means, that's okay. I'm going to give you a brief overview and actually give you a chance to sign up for the Achievery so that you can also follow at home, follow after today's lesson webinar. So we'll start out with creating the Achievery account. So if you're at home, if you have a phone, you can use the camera and use the QR code to sign up on the left. If you want to sign up for an English Achievery account, on the right if you want to sign up with a Spanish one. So because we are working with AT&T, and this is part of a grant, we have our own UTM source code. So you'll notice at the end, it says farm worker. That's because we are working with Farm Worker Justice, Migrant Seasonal Head Start, and IDRC to bring this to everybody. It is a free resource. So that's the first step, is making sure that you use our link if you do sign up today. And I am going to give everybody about 30 seconds to kind of click on that because I'm going to show you what it looks like to sign up. Well, I would show you if I hadn't closed out my Google Chrome. There we go. All right.
I did put it in the chat, the English version, if people do.
Perfect.
wanna take
Thanks
it
for
from there.
saying that. Okay, so if you clicked sign up with the English link, it will take you to welcome you to the Achievery, and up at the top right, you will see the sign up link. So if you click on sign up, it asks you for your date of birth and year. I will let you choose your own. Oh, wait. Anybody can sign up. If you are 12 and younger, it does ask for parent permission. And then it asks you to describe yourself as a student, a teacher, or a parent caregiver. I would like to assume that everybody that's here today would choose teacher because, we're sharing this with our colleagues, we're sharing this with our students and parents. So that probably most likely would describe you. And then you can choose on how to log in. So I have already created an account with my Google email, so I can just click on Google and it'll take me right to the Achievery. If you're not sure if you've created an account, after you've used the Farm Worker Justice link to sign up, you will notice that it just reverts back to the original Achievery, and that's okay. To know if you have an account, you can click on your little icon. Mine happens to be a little robot, and just click manage your account. And it should have your name and your email associated with it. So that is for anybody that needs to know how, if they have an account, log in. It's very easy to navigate the website itself, but I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you. And then I do want to go back to our presentation. So goals for today, I want you to understand what the Achievery is. We're going to quickly search on how to find a lesson, and then we're actually going to go into how to create lesson using tools that work for you, work for your student, work for your district. So what is the Achievery? It is not a learning management system, an LMS. If you might be familiar with Schoology, you might be familiar with Google Classroom, Odysseyware, there are literally thousands of learning management systems out there, and every school is different. Every district is going to be different. The nice thing about the Achievery is that it is not any of that. It is a learning platform. So it is there for everybody. It is free for everybody, and anybody can access the resources that are on there. The really nice thing about it is that because it's kind of a free agent, you're able to use any of those lessons and incorporate those into an already standing LMS platform that you may have through your school or your district. The other thing that I want to talk about is project-based versus performance-based. If you're working with schools that are maybe moving towards standards-based, a lot of how they present their content is by having a project at the end, right? So a student is going to demonstrate what they know by fulfilling, the rubric of a really long project sheet. The Achievery itself is not project-based, it's performance-based. So it doesn't mean that they're not necessarily mutually exclusive. However, what they both do is that they both are supported by the knowledge and they both require demonstrated skills. The biggest difference is that for performance-based, there's usually an open-ended question. And when I show you some of the lessons, I'll show you what that driving that open-ended question is. The really nice thing about performance-based is that you're still asking a student to tell you where they are and then show you where they're going to, and it shows you where they're going to be. So that's the really nice thing about the Achievery. Now I want to show you quickly how to search within the Achievery. And then I'm also going to let you know that there is a master content spreadsheet that I've created that Rosalinda will put a link for that you can have a copy of as well. So let me go into the Achievery and show you. So if you are logged in, up at the top, you can see the main categories. You have the About section, the All Units section. If you hover over categories, it gives you the 7 content areas, and you have a little contact button. You can search by clicking on the magnifying glass next to manage your account. And so you can search that way. So we can put in numbers and look for anything that has to do with numbers. Also, if you want it to be in Spanish, you can switch from English to Spanish here, and it's going to give you anything with numbers in Spanish. So that's the really nice thing. The Achievery is in both English and Spanish. Unfortunately, not everything is in Spanish. However, you can use Google Translate, and we have done that before for certain lesson plans that individuals would like to use. So that's the first way, is by using the little magnifying glass up at the top, little search function. You could also, while you are in the All Units section, where it says, let's start learning, you can search through here for any of your lessons. So let's say you wanted something on that was self-directed. Actually, I must have been looking for a self-directed lesson. And remember, self-directed means that a student would be searching for this, and it means that they could kind of start on their own and get through it on their own without it necessarily being a full-on lesson. And let's say we were looking for middle school. So let's try 6th, 7th, and 8th. So 6th, 7th, and 8th self-directed lessons. So then right there, we have all of these lessons that are popping up that are self-directed, which again means that a student could click on it, watch the video associated with it, download the lesson plan, and work through it to understand the concepts. Now, the other way that you can search through the current Achievery content is I have created a spreadsheet, and Rosalinda will drop the link in the chat. This is also available to you at the end when we give you access to the PowerPoints and the videos. So what the master content video looks like is I have a whole bunch of tabs down on the bottom. I have one called Master. So essentially, I've taken every single video, and yes, I have watched every single video, and I've let you know what year it's made, who the collaborator is, what the code unit is listed as, what type of lesson it is, whether it's self-directed, instructor-led, teacher-guided, whether it's available in Spanish or whether it has subtitles. And then the little summary. So basically, if we were in the Achievery, so if we were in the Achievery right now and we were to click on Image Detective Challenge, the About the Lesson right here, I've basically taken all of those and just kind of inputted them in here as well. So that's a way for you to be able to sort through. You can sort through grade levels this way. You can search through focus topic, and then of course the link that takes you directly to that unit. I've also divided it into the actual 7 content areas. So you can search for just ELA, you can search for just math, or social emotional learning. So those are on there for you. As a bonus, because AT&T has also created additional learning resources, you can click on the final tab, and there are some PowerPoints there that different agencies and individuals have used for possible parent orientations or parent workshops related to digital literacy, internet basics, stuff like that. You will notice that there are a couple of other links. I'm sorry, a couple of other tabs on here. So I do have a links page, again, with the link on how to use our link, FarmWorker UTM source link, to create an account, which we would love for you to share and use. And then other links related to upcoming events, tutorials, and that folder for that AT&T digital learning resources. If you were to click on that, that would actually take you to everything. There is a TBD tab. For that one's more back end. It's for me because the really nice thing about, man, there's a lot of really nice things about the Achievery. Achievery is constantly updating their content. So you can see a lot of the stuff that's kind of in the works in the background. And so I use those to eventually move into the master. If you want an updated master content video, then every month we share the link through our newsletter. If you want to sign up for the Achievery newsletter, then Rosalinda would love for you to put your email in the chat, and I'll give you a few minutes to do that, so that we can add you to the Achievery newsletter. What we do with that newsletter, we send it out every month. The next one will be coming out the first week of June. We give you access to the master content. We give you access to the newest connectivity lessons, which I'm about to move into, and a whole bunch of other things that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. So please sign up. We promise we only send it to you once a month. All right. So then we're actually going to go into the lesson creation. I'm going to show you the resources available, the website to go to for it, and then I'm going to focus on one tool, but I will let you know that there are other resources available for you to go to create your own tools as well whenever you're creating a lesson. However, before we begin, and this is where I need your audience participation because I want to hear from you, How do you encourage your students? What do you do to let your students know you're doing great? You've got this. How do you encourage your student? I have another question. How do you know that they're growing? How do you know? Do you have something measurable as far as this is where they were and now they're here? And then I have one more question that I want you to consider. How do you provide that feedback to that student? So I want, those are three questions I kind of want you to have as we're going through these demos. So the first thing I want to show you is all of the resources coming together. So what you see on here is you see pictures of YouTube, you see pictures of IDRC's English in Minutes, El Guía Bilingüe en Inglés y en Español. You see Spark Innovations, and you can see IDRC's Student Portal. So what we've done is we've taken all of those lessons and we've brought them together into something that we call the connectivity instructional resources. So Rosalinda can put the link for the connectivity lessons in the chat as well. And I just want to give you a preview of what has been added to this. Every single one of these lessons is on here because you've requested it. You've asked us to bring things together because you're trying to get ideas, you're trying to create a summer week program, a weekend program, an entire summer program, or a tutoring program. So every single one of these lessons is on there because you've requested it. And if there are some that you don't see on here, because we've just started, then please, by all means, email myself, email Rosalinda, and let us know, hey, we'd like to see something on outer space. We'd like to see something on career resources. And we can do that for you so that you can then take those and run with them, right? The whole point of these resources is that we want them to be free, but we want them to be accessible. One of the things we understand is that people do not have the time to start from scratch. So why reinvent the wheel if it's already on there? So the one that I want to focus on today is called Netiquette, and I'll show you what it looks like.
We had a
Oops.
couple comments, Jazz, for when
Oh,
you.
I'd love to hear those, Rose. Can you read those out for us?
Yeah, so I continually just talk to them and let them know they're doing great, from Molly. Olga, make face-to-face connections with them, making home visits, school visits. And Monica, if I'm able to, I use a student's native language to build a bridge and show that it's okay to make mistakes or have an accent. Love it.
Oh, I love all of those, but I definitely love the mistake ones because trust me, I don't think I go a day without making some sort of mistake. And I own my mistakes. So I think my son loves that part, maybe a little too much about me, but thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate it. So we're going to focus on the Netiquette connectivity lesson. So the reason I wanted to focus on this is because it's being kind on and offline. So you're hitting that digital literacy, but you're also hitting that English language arts and social emotional learning. So you're kind of hitting, the gamut there. And so the objective is we want our students to show concern for the feelings of others and engage in positive behavior on and off lines. So students will identify a variety of emotions. For this one, we had the grade span of K through 3 and 6 through 12, but then we also include tips and resources on how to modify them. And this is a general look at what it looks like. I'm actually going to go to I'm actually going to click on the Netiquette one so you can see it. Notice something that if I miss it, let me know because it's on here somewhere. Oh, there you go. All right. I think it's on here somewhere. All right. So essentially what these connectivity lessons are, they're PDFs. And they're essentially full lesson plans that you can then take, and you can take what works for you. You don't have to use the whole thing. You can modify this to be as long or as short as you need it to be. So the lesson introduction for this: how do we act when we're on the internet? Have students ever wondered what is appropriate or inappropriate to share on social media? So we're going to have the students watch and listen to a read aloud of The Technology Tale by Julia Cook and Anita de Fala. It's a story about a computer that teaches about good citizenship traits and offers strategies to help you think before posting. So you would be able to just click on that.
When your internet is 100% fiber, you could do this. Or you could switch to Frontier Fiber.
Okay. Just so you know, you're able to hear the audio.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm not going to show you the whole video. This is obviously, almost 14 minutes.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Reading with Leanne. We are going to read the book, The Technology Tale, a digital footprint story.
So the reason I like these videos, especially for our MEP students, is because you're able to stop and go as quickly or as slowly as you need to for them. They can go back and repeat that, and they're able to do that at their own pace. Sometimes you can get the closed captionings. Actually, I believe here you can as well.
This is written by Julia Cook and it's illustrated by Anita de Fala. Look at the...
So by having those subtitles, that's another way to kind of help bring out that emerging language, right? We want to make sure that they're understanding the words, that they see the words. Sometimes just having that visual is very helpful. So that's one of the things that we can do while we're there. I wanted to... And that's just, that's what's part of the time that you can have with your student, is just having them listen to that book. The really nice thing is that if you go into the IDRC student portal, there are so many links to celebrities reading storybooks, and not just in English, but you can also have them in Spanish. So you have that variety. So if it's one of those instances where you're going to a home and you're telling a parent, we really want them to increase their vocabulary. As much as we don't want them to be in front of the TV, sometimes, technology can be helpful in that way. And you have that parent engaging and participating with them. So honestly, it's something that could help the parent as well. So that's one of the reasons why I appreciate the Achievery being in both English and Spanish. So this could be something that you could leave with the parent, or, give them those links, as long as, of course, obviously, that the huge barriers is making sure they have that internet access. But beyond that, this is one of those things that they can do. So then if we were to focus further on the lessons for the kindergartners through the third grade, then it would, of course, have you log into the Achievery and follow the Being Kind Online. So then here it tells you about that lesson, right? The way we treat other people matters. And this unit will teach you about kindness. You will watch videos that teach you what kindness is, how to show it, and why kindness is important on and offline. So this one happens to have 4 different videos, so 4 different sections, 4 different lesson plans. If we were to click on the first one.
iKeepSafe presents.
Are you able to hear the audio, Rose?
Yes.
Okay.
Being kind online.
And this one's only a minute, so we're going to watch it.
What is kindness? Kindness is something you do. It is doing or saying nice things to others. Kindness is being a good friend.
Hey friend, I feel better.
Kindness is sharing.
Thanks for sharing.
Kindness is helping others. Kindness is caring when someone is feeling sad. When someone shows kindness to you, you feel cared for, liked, and loved. Kindness is helpful to everyone. Now that you know what kindness is, download and print the activity below to draw or write kindness messages. After you're done, color, cut, and deliver them to others who need them. You might want to ask a grown-up for help. Have fun!
So I really like this video. One, it's short and sweet. Two, it has an action. And even before you're supposed to watch the video, you're supposed to be talking with your student, with your child, and say, what is kindness? What does that mean to you? What does it look like? And so that's one of the ways that you're able to really put these lessons into motion. I want to make sure that we have this one. Okay, so this one is not available in Spanish. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to check. However, one of the things that we did do is we did use Google Translate to translate the lesson plan. So if we were to go down into the lesson plan and we were to say being kind online, what is kindness? Remember I mentioned with that performance-based, there's a driving question, there's an open question. And one of the things that I really loved with when you answered my question is, how do you encourage the students, is that one where you said, mistakes are made, there's no wrong or right answer. And that's one of the nice things about these particular lesson plans. When you're asking that open-ended question, you're asking for that feedback from them. You're asking for them to engage in a discussion with you. So there is no wrong or right answer, and so that's one of the really, really wonderful things about these lesson plans. And it tells you exactly what you need to do. So this one mentioned kindness grams. So that was one of the nice things about this in particular. So for example, if I were to download this, and then go to Google Translate. And then go to the documents and drag and drop that one. Oh, hold on. It's hiding somewhere, friends. So if we bring that over and then we translate it, except I'm translating it from English to, there we go. We need to translate from English to Spanish. So then we hit translate. And then you open the translation. Then you have that lesson plan in Spanish. So, if you have a family where the student is still learning the language, or you really want the parent to be working with the student and having this lesson, then you could print these out for them and have it be in Spanish for them. So again, using Google Translate, we've used AI Translator before as well, and those do an amazing job. So, just because, again, it may not be available in Spanish doesn't mean that you can't use it to your advantage, and for whatever language, because I know Spanish is not the only language our students speak. So I believe we've had it translated into French, Haitian. So it's really nice having that option. So if I were to go back to, you're going to see me having to navigate all of these. So if we were to go back into that netiquette connectivity lesson, you have, again, now you have the link to the Achievery, and then we also have a link for the older students for 6 to 12. But in addition to that, we have those additional resources. We have students watch the What is Netiquette series episode from Smile and Learn, again, free for everybody, and some are, again, also available in Spanish. Then we have activities for you to do. So we use the game from Coffee and Carpool to practice kindness. So even if you're doing it virtually, if you're doing it in person, there are ways to be able to adapt the games. So sometimes we link to online games that the students can play on their own with their parents. And sometimes we're doing real ones where, you know, you're having a kid move and maybe the parents are joining in as well. So for example, this one is, you know, air high five a classmate, you know, or even if you're just working with a small family, you know, you could have the children working within themselves. So we give you those activities and you can see that it keeps going, it keeps going. We give you as many resources as you need. We even ask you to take it further and expand it with additional lessons from the Achievery that you can use, again, if you're trying to show growth, right? If you're trying to say, well, this is where the student started and this is where they are now. So you're able to move them along that lesson plan in those units. So that is one of our connectivity lessons. And again, you notice that there were a lot more on there. The other, let's see. So then the other thing that I wanted to show is I wanted to go directly into the actual Achievery lessons as well. So this one happens to be one for high schoolers. So this is for grades 9, 10, 11, and 12, and it's called Discovering Your True Identity. So about the lesson. So this one shows a clip from the movie Wonder Woman. And convinced she can stop the threat and fighting alongside man in a war to end all wars, Diana will discover her full powers and her true destiny. So this learning unit consists of 3 separate but stackable lessons and corresponding exercises. So you can download those for more information. So if we were to click those, you know, it takes us to this lesson, and these are the 3 lessons. Now, the movie is, it's not showing the whole movie, it's just showing you one bit. But as a teacher, again, you want to read that lesson plan. And here's that driving question, right? This lesson's essential question is, by expressing our true selves, how can we promote the well-being of others? The lesson's big idea: one way to show your values and who you are is how you take care of others. And then you're going to talk about in this clip, right? So, and again, this lesson plan will walk you through. This one happens to be one of 3, because remember that it mentioned that they're stackable lessons. What that means is that you can start with the first one, and then following week or following day, you can move on to the second lesson, and it builds on with the foundation. The other thing is that you can use these standalone, or sometimes you can just kind of combine them. So it just really depends on what you're looking for, how much time you have. So then it walks you right through, right? We're talking about that communication spark. Again, that open question, that igniting discussion. So before even showing the clip, you're going to say, you know, this asks us to consider what makes us who we are. So by expressing our true selves, how can we promote the well-being of others? And then it even says, next say, now that you know the overarching question, before I show the clip, what does it mean when people, quote, show their true colors or show their true selves? And then you're going to go ahead and show the clip. So it's a very short clip, and I love Wonder Woman, so I'm actually going to show it to you because I want you to work through the lesson I've created after that.
Heute moet ze diegenen die niet konden ontsnappen, die worden als slaven meegenomen. Wat is er gebeurd? Bert, aan die andere kant van die loophouse.
Dinah, we have to go.
We need to help these people.
We have to stay on mission.
The next safe crossing is at least a day away. What are we waiting for?
We cannot leave without helping them. These people are dying. They've nothing to eat, and in the village enslaved, she said.
I understand that.
Women,
we need
children.
to make our next position by
How
sunlight.
can you say that? What is the matter with you?
This is no man's land, Diana. It means no man can cross it, all right? This battalion has been here for nearly a year, and they barely gained an inch. All right, because on the other side, there are a bunch of Germans pointing machine guns at every square inch of this place. This is not something you can cross. It's not possible.
So what? So we do nothing?
No, we are doing something. We are. We can't save everyone in this war. This is not what we came here to do.
No, but it's what I'm going to do.
So I don't know how you felt about that, but I remember the first time I watched that video, I was like, what? That's where it ends? And what you'll find is you'll find a lot of groaning teenagers because they're like, you're about to get to the good part. And so the funny thing about this one is you have to bring it back in, right? You're like, okay, right now we're talking about revealing our true selves, right? And what does Diana represent? What does the gentleman represent, or everybody else saying? And so you really want to use this as, again, that little brush, right? That little spark, that little fire that has them start thinking about it. So the other thing that I want you to look at is, if we go back here to the lesson. Oh. And you download that lesson plan. After going into that lesson plan, you actually have that academic exercise, right? And the point of this, because this is ELA, English Language Arts, the academic exercise is we want to tell a narrative. We want to tell a story. And so you have that step one, right? That teacher facilitator is going to craft the personalized guidelines for this writing activity. And then here's suggested options. So it doesn't exactly tell you what to do exactly, because you have an option. You want to give that option to your students, because our MEP students run the gamut. We have some that are just having emerging language. We have some that have been here for years and this would be no problem. And so you want to be able to tailor the lesson to your particular students and what they need. So the second step for this is asking the students for a writing prompt. One of the things that I want to definitely urge is, just because it's saying it's a writing prompt doesn't mean that you can't present a writing prompt in different ways. So, again, it's a narrative. What do we do when we tell a narrative? We're speaking it. So you can have them write it down. You can have them present it as a play. You can have them, just talk about it on the side. So there are different ways that you can do this. And then, of course, you have your aligned learning goals, right? So you're walking them through all of this. So this is a sample rubric criterion. So these get made also by the teacher, by the guidance, the person leading the lesson. And so you give them those steps. This one is a little bit more of a high level one, but you can, again, adjust that for your students. And so what I want to show you is that what we did is we took that lesson. And remember earlier how I mentioned it's not a learning management system, but you can use these lessons and put them into a learning management system. Well, we did just that. We took all of the lesson plans and we pulled out what could be turned into quizzes, what could be turned into assignments, and we put them all into a Google Classroom. So for discovering your true identity, we did a vocabulary pre-quiz and a post-quiz, right? So that is a measurable way to figure out, hey, what have our students learned? Do they understand this? So you would indicate, all right, everybody go in and do your vocabulary pre-quiz, and you'd be like, but ma'am, I don't know any of these words. That's okay, right? Just kind of do your best. And then as you're progressing through the lesson, all right, let's do the post-quiz and see, what you've learned. And then I happened to take the assignment from part 3, which was that, create a narrative. And again, you can use that for students to type in. You can use it as a rough draft for students. There's different ways. And of course, all of the materials were listed on there. So what I'm going to show you is what that actually looks like in a Google Classroom. So if we were to log into the Google Classroom, and I believe we did this one in ELA for high school. So if you were to go into the classwork, you could see each of those individual ones. So if you were to click on the vocabulary pre-quiz, you know, it says, how much do you know? Take this quiz before watching the video and starting any class discussion. So this is before even saying what you want to say. So they could click on that, and, you know, this one happens to be multiple choice. And again, the really nice thing is you can adjust this for your students. You know, you can adjust this for IEPs. You can turn this from 4 questions to 3 questions. You can make them shorter. You can make it text to speech. That these are all capabilities within, you know, different learning management systems that you can use. So that's one thing. The Art of Storytelling assignment part 3. So again, we've taken that academic exercise and we've listed it on here. And so if students are in here, I've made it so that they would click on their own and it would create their own document. So, you know, sometimes we have to remind our students, you know, to put their last and first name on there. So that's just one of the things you can do as well to help them work through that. And then I did want to show the examples that were created for this. So for a student that was, I want to say he was L2, he was able to create this, right? So Maria walked home from school. And remember, the prompt was, you're trying to create your own superhero story where someone is helping somebody else. So Maria walked home from school. She saw a boy in trouble. 2 bad men were near him. Stop, Maria yelled. The men looked at her and laughed. Maria felt her hands get warm. She was scared, but knew she had to help. I am Starflame, she said. Light came from her hands. The men stopped laughing. They looked scared now. Maria used the light to hold the men. Run home, she told the boy. The boy ran away fast. Maria held the men until the police came. The policemen took the bad men away. Maria smiled, and she knew she saved the day. So that in itself hits all of the rubric criteria, right? And you have this student telling the story and using the basic vocabulary that he is, but he's again, you're feeling that emotion. And one way to again encourage that student is, you know, saying, hey, that's Starflame, that's a really awesome name. So, you know, of course, a way to help. This one down here is this was I want to say this was a senior, and so they took similar, they had actually seen the original writing prompt, and then they just you know, went elaborated on it, used higher definitions and words. And this was more of a showcasing of what it could look like and what maybe a student's language will turn into. Having examples of, you know, success and ideal versions or ideas of what they can be is sometimes helpful. So this was just another version on there. And then, no. And then I just want to show that we did something similar with math for 4th graders. Oh, sorry about that. Did not mean to make you go all the way back with me. There we go. So this one is exploring angles by taking shots. So
Yasmin, I'm not sure we're seeing your screen.
Oh, thank you for
the prompts.
Let me try again. Let me make sure I'm showing it. I'm going to share my whole desktop just to make sure you guys see me go back and forth. Are you seeing exploring angles by taking shots?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So this is another example of a lesson. This one's for 4th grade, and we're just exploring acute, right, and obtuse angles through the game of basketball. The Achievery has collaborated with the NBA, so you have a lot of the videos with famous NBA individuals, people that work in the background. And so I really like this one because, especially if students are like, oh, this is my favorite person teaching me about angles, and I thought I was never going to have to use geometry again. but you want to expose them to that as early as possible so that it doesn't seem like a foreign concept when they're moving on. So this one again is taking the lesson that was in the downloadable lesson, and it tells you, you know, it gives you an image and it has the students work through that. So on this one, you're identifying a right, an obtuse, and an acute angle, and you're talking about the hockey rink. So the goal here is to be able to identify those angles in this two-dimensional diagram. So what we did is, again, we took all of those and put them into a Google Classroom. So yep, this one. So what we did here is we showed them the materials, right? So you've taken the Achievery view material, it'll take them to the link. They can watch the videos, you give them the instructions. And then we did give them a pre and post quiz, which was, again, if you were to do this before they even looked at the lesson, you could read it out to them, you could walk them through it. You know, what is the angle shown below? Acute, obtuse, or right? You know, and then same thing with that. And then of course the hope is that after you've gone through the lesson, that then they'll be able to identify those on their own. We're also able to take that lesson that was in that lesson plan and turn it into, again, an assignment. So I believe it was the extra practice. So they could click on that. It would give them their own Google Doc to then fill out. They can work on that. They can type directly on it. You can print it out. They could work on it. You know, you want to give them those different options. But the other nice thing is we created a conversation piece for this one. So, you know, let's reflect on your learning. And so they would click on that. They would view the question. Do you use any patterns to remember which angle corresponds with which diagram? You know, and this is intended for the class to talk, for parents to help their students, you know, just getting that background and like, oh, I didn't think about this. So in a virtual setting, this would be great. This would be also something that you could, you know, take and then put in a personal setting, in-person setting. So those are the options. So those are the demos. So that was the demo for everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Do we have any questions before I move on to some fun things that I want to share before we leave?
Can I just add quickly, I had some people direct message me their email. If you did create an account, can you please send that my way? Greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for sending that. All right. So I want to let you know about really 2.5, 3 different competitions and challenges, I guess we'll call them challenges, that we have going on this summer. So beginning June 1st and ending August 31st, we are putting out an MEP. We're calling it the Literacy Contest Reading Challenge. There are going to be 2 parts to it. The first part is, you know, just having MEP students listen to as many books as possible to enter for a chance to win a tablet. So there will be a link for them to list their name, their email, the book they read, and tell us something really cool about that book. So that's the first part of the MEP literacy contest. The second part is for students that want to delve deeper and possibly see their own story come to life. Is we are working with Storybird and creating connections between some of the Achievery lessons and some books that students can read that are at their level. And the winner for that part of the contest not only gets their book printed, but also a tablet. So those are the 2. That's going to begin on June 1st. That will come out in our newsletter with the links. So again, if you want access to the links and the submission links for all of that, please give Rosalinda your email today so that we can add you to that newsletter. And again, we only send it to you once a month, so I promise we won't bombard you with a lot of emails. So that's why I called it a one, maybe two-parter. And that's for our students, June 1st through August 31st. Now, this one is for all of you. And this one is already going on right now. So calling all educators, and by educators, again, I think earlier I said, even if you're not a teacher, you are a teacher. You're teaching somebody, whether it's your own children, your nieces or nephews, the neighbors' kids, you're teaching somebody. So this is for you, for adults. We ask you to join our Summer Spark Learning Challenge. So for this one, what we want to hear is for you to tell us which one of the Achievery lessons is your favorite and how you would use it, or how you have used it, because I know we do have some individuals that have already created accounts and already have them. And this ends on June 30th, so 11:59, June 30th, I believe it's a Sunday. Winner will be announced on July 1st, and it is for a chance to win a $150 Amazon gift card. So, Rosalinda, if you want to put the link for the summer challenge information on, it looks like this. So basically, it gives you all the information. It gives you the deadline, when we're going to announce the winner. You can actually enter up to 3 times to increase your chances. You know, it gives you, again, how to create an Achievery account through our links, how to navigate, and then the submission form. I do want to also mention, so you can enter up to 3 times. If you reach out to Rosalinda and let her know that you want to showcase your lesson via a recording on our Facebook page, you will receive an additional 5 entries. So, you know, if you want to increase your chances, please reach out. And I say this because AT&T is really hoping that the Achievery takes off. It's a wonderful program and it's free again, right? And so we want to make sure that it's shared with as many people as we can share it with. So keep that in mind. We're saying that we're able to drop the link in the chat for them.
Yes, ma'am, I did throw that one in there. Oh, it says request is needed, so we may need to do something on our end.
Actually, let me do that right now. So that, hold on, I know what I need to do.
Thank you, Monica, for letting us know.
Well, at least I know someone's already on there, right, Monica? We actually got the idea from another group that was doing the same thing, and we're like, yeah, of course we'd love to do that. So our summer initiatives.
Was I throwing the Summer Spark Learning submission in there as well?
Yes, this is the one that they need access to. Hold on. I need to give both of them, make sure that they're both shareable.
Got it. And just while Yasmin's doing those, for everyone on here, you know, whether you're a recruiter, liaison, advocate, all of these lessons can be used. And again, Yasmin's here. If you're running a week program, 6-week program, 2-day program, we can cater it for that. You just need to reach out to us and let us know what your needs are. And that's what we're here for.
Perfect. Okay, so anybody with the link should be able to view the instructions now. And again, that should take you to the submission link. I'll show you what the submission link looks like. It's pretty simple. It's the end of year challenge designed to inspire and support educators, parents, and caregivers. So we want to know what Achievery email you used, your first and last name. We want to know your role. And then, so we have teacher, parent, caregiver, MEP recruiter, or other. And then you need to put the link here, so you can just copy and paste it on there. And then we want you to briefly describe how the lesson can support learning, or how you have used the lesson already. And then please let us know how you want to contact, how you want us to contact you. if you won. So obviously email or phone. And if it is phone, that's why we said, please indicate the email or phone you want us to reach out to win. All right.
We have a question for the 3 submissions. Do they have to be a different lesson each time?
Yes, they do have to be different lessons.
And then should I throw on here, Yasmin, the form stack in case, also if you weren't in yesterday in the Achievery, Yasmin, also
Yes.
available, if I will throw that in there, available if you'd like to, if she's been meeting with a lot of states and a lot of districts, but if you'd like to meet with her one-on-one, we can set that up.
Yes, I didn't focus on that for this presentation. However, I want you to let you know that part of our, our grant money is there for technology scholarships. So what that means is that not only are we promoting the Achievery and any other free resources that I just shared, but we want to encourage it by driving that, I'm losing my vocabulary. Driving people to the Achievery. So we want to create those email accounts. So we do have a tracker that I create for you if you're interested. What that means is that for every 25 accounts that you are able to track, that people will say, oh, it's because, we gave them our link that they've created an account, then you earn a tablet that must go to an MEP student. We don't decide what student or how you're going to give it to that student. We just let you know, hey, you have reached 25 accounts. Let me know what office we're sending this to. And then we do have a receipt form that you have to provide, for scholarship, for grant requirements. So if anybody wants more information on that, then yes, Rosalinda will put the link for a request for, it's called request for training. And a lot of it is just, it asks questions about your program. That's just, I want to know who we're working with. But then once you meet with me, I will give you access to a tracker and you then become eligible to try and earn tablets for your students.
So we're down to like less than 30 seconds, but just another pitch to throw out there. So even if you have a small program or a small number of kids, for those 25 accounts to be eligible, think about it. You can sign up your parents, you can sign up coworkers. So there's many ways. And again, these are here for MEP students. So we are more than happy to meet with